Star quality. I got it. I got this. You got it. You got it. My chart says so. Look at me go. Sun, moon, rising. It's all about time. It's all about time. Earthlings. What's it all mean? What's it all mean? Star quality.
What's it all mean? What's it all mean? Mean.
Star quality. No, dude, really, what does it all mean? I got it. You got it. You got it. Star quality. Star quality. Welcome back to Star Quality, everybody. I am your host, astrologer Stevie, and today is a special episode, a reflection episode where I wanted to dive into what we've all been collectively experiencing over the summer. You know, this year's been a lot in many ways, and it's the first year I've been doing astrology in some professional capacity since like 2018. Okay. And this is the first year where I've had just so many people ask, what the hell is going on? This has been a really up and down, chaotic 2025. And it makes sense from a planetary level. And the question that also keeps coming up is when is this going to get better? When are things going to change? When is the shift happening? And I just want to take this space to talk about the era that we're in, the era that we're going to be in. And this summer, if you've had any readings with me or have talked to me in a one-on-one level, you've probably heard me keep referring, and maybe I've mentioned it on previous podcasts too. You've probably heard me mention that this summer has been a taste test of the future. Officially, there's been no song of the summer, but there is the taste test of the future summer. And that is because we've had so many big transits that have come and they're going to go back. And while Pluto and Aquarius is going to remain and has sort of been like, was sort of like the preamble of like what we were going to experience, what we're in now is been a sampling. And I'm going to go over the planetary configuration and all the symbolism and some dates and what that all means. Yeah, a trigger warning, I guess. Like if you're feeling doomy, I don't know, actually maybe stick around because hopefully this gives you some empowerment or connection to other people who are feeling the same ways as you. And, you know, obviously I'm recording and living in the United States of America, which just feels weird. It's been a weird time. You know, this country's like always been the villain, obviously, but it's just been so overt. And yeah, I know a lot of people are feeling really helpless and restless. And I do think we have the capabilities to keep our power and work from a place of power and to, you know, lift ourselves up. And I think astrology is a great tool for tapping into our gifts and to, you know, not give up on ourselves and to not give up on our fellow human beings. But yeah, man, it's been fucking bonk bonk. Like, um, again, I've seen people who aren't even that into astrology being like, I'm into it now. I get it. I see that things are kooky. And things have been kooky because we've been in this outer planet party, this outer planet party. And I'm going to get way more into that in a second. But before I do, before I dive too deep, hello. If you've never been here before, welcome to Star Quality, a podcast and newsletter. Um, this is going to be for everybody. I do have a paid subscriber tier called the third space. So if you would like to subscribe and support, please come on through. I'd love to see you there. We'll definitely talk about this episode in the chat room, which is for subscribers only. And yeah, for $7.77 a month, you can buy me a coffee and I will do this for you. I will report the astro news to you. Also, you'll get the full weekly horoscopes. They get paid well after Wednesday. So there's always a little free preview. I always make sure to have free available, good chunks of information and content or whatever you want to call it. But this one's gonna be for everybody because it's a big reflection. And yeah, I poured myself a glass of wine. Let me take a sippy sip. I'm on video for this. Put on a motherfucking red lip for this. um, and yeah, your support means everything. This is a user supported publication and no, no super PACs or anything here. That'd be crazy. Yeah, so please support. Also, if you just want to sign up for a little bit and then you have to turn it off, all good. If you want to do a free preview, there's free trials. So come on through. And also hearting and commenting and sharing is all awesome. It's all awesome stuff because if you're like, oh my God, I can't keep hearting this, like, please heart it because, like, I think a lot of other social media platforms, mainly Instagram, has like ruined our brains that we should, like, it's weird to interact or weird to like participate. You're here. So, like, if you were moved by this, just if you're here and you're like me, it just helps me because when you heart it or comment it, it bumps it in the algorithm. More people on Substack find me. This is all hosted through Substack, but of course, you can listen on your podcast or wherever you get your things. It's all connected to the streaming things. So, yeah, that's my plug. So, please support me, your astrologer CV, and star quality. And let's talk about this minor grand trine we've been in and we will continue to be in until like 2030. Truthfully, I was just going ahead and looking through my software ephemeris and was like, how long is this actually till? And it's still fucking like spring 2030. I thought it was still 2028. Like, I feel like I was glancing before because, it's like I like to look ahead, but I don't like to look too ahead sometimes because I too am a human who doesn't like to like doom out too hard as well. But I like to get like a little preview, but usually I don't look that far ahead when I'm like forecasting. I mean, some astrologers love to like look decades and decades ahead. Like, more power to them. I think just so many things change in real time as they're happening. So, like, to me, heavily mapping out 2040 doesn't seem that helpful to me right now when I could really more concentrate on like the next 3 years, or whatever. Also, if you ever want to do that one on one with your chart, I do readings. So feel free to book a one on one, links in all the show notes and everything. If there's no times that work for you, just email me and we can find a time. Because sometimes people's schedules are different or, things, whatever. You get how to book a reading. So come through if you would like to sit down and have some one-on-one time. If you're someone who's had a reading before, please write me a testimonial, a review, Google reviews, Yelp, or if you wanted to submit through the form, I'll put this also in the show notes. It probably should have been before, but if you have read with me before, please don't write a testimonial if you haven't. Please just only do it if you have. Um, I will offer you $20 off your next reading. So screenshot it, show me that you wrote a testimonial. Testimonials also help people find me. Guys, again, I'm an indie business here. Word of mouth, supporting, letting people know what you like, that you like me. Do you like me? Do you really like me? It helps so much. Okay. So this minor grand trine, let's talk about the planets that we're talking about here. We have been in this minor grand trine, a minor talent triangle, another term for the trine, when we have all the elements, is a talent triangle. This is like a minor talent. This can just show the natural gifts in a natal chart. But we have been in, and I'm sure if you follow any astrology things, you probably know, we have been in this cycle, this pattern, this shape with the main players, Uranus and Gemini, Neptune and Aries. We're going to include Saturn and Aries in this conversation as well. And for now, and then Pluto and Aquarius. So the three outer planets are Uranus, Neptune, Pluto. We're talking about Saturn because Saturn's going to be co-present with Neptune for quite some time. And they have been talking. They have been having a convo. I'm going to also, Saturn and Aries is this precursor as well, because Saturn's going to be in Aries for the next 3 years after it retrogrades back into Pisces September 1st. So I'm going to go over like, okay, I might sound like very like a beautiful mind when I go over all these dates, but hopefully this makes some sense, because I do think that this time period we've been in, and coming back to this prompt of when everyone's been asking me, like, when are things going to change? When is this going to X, Y, Z? And I just keep coming back to, this has sort of been a test of the reality, and that this reality could continue unless we make some major changes this fall, winter, spring, because this taste test of the future really started on July 7th, 2025, because that's when all that minor grand trine, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, Saturn as well with Neptune. That's when everyone, I personify the planets a lot, like helps me process thinking of them as like people. That's when they all were in their new signs. Because, and let me go to my dates. I've like too many notes, and I'll put these all hopefully as laid out as clearly as possible in the show notes as well. But Neptune entered Aries March 30th, 2025. Okay. Late spring. Um, Saturn entered Aries May 24th, 2025. Okay. Also spring. I guess March 30th is not really late spring. Whatever. You understand. If you're into astrology, you understand seasons and dates. Then Uranus moved into Gemini, July 7th, 2025. Now, Pluto has been in Aquarius. It moved into Aquarius. I wrote all about Pluto and Aquarius moves. It was huge because Pluto was in Capricorn from 2008 to 2024, with some dips, retrograde dips into Aquarius, some taste tests as well. See these planets when they're outer planets and slow, and just like when any planet is sitting on the cusp. So cups are real, and real in the fact that there is a line in the sand where planets change signs. So this is when the signs change. So Pluto in Aquarius moved in November 19th, 2024. A very casual time of year when nothing crazy was happening, right? Pluto is going to be in Aquarius till, with also a taste test of Pisces later on. I mean, much further down the road, and retrograde back. But anyways, but in its conclusion until January 19th, 2044. Okay. So we have Pluto. What is Pluto? Pluto is the planet of death, rebirth, and transformation, because it is a planet that takes decades to move through a sign. This is signaling eras, generations, generational transits. That's why, if you meet someone born with Pluto and Scorpio, it's like, yeah, there's a generation of people born with Pluto and Scorpio, Pluto and Sagittarius, etc. So Pluto in Aquarius is this anchor of change and transformation. Like, that is happening. That is what's up. That is no ifs, ands, or buts to this thing. And so with this minor grand trine, and I'll show images too. So maybe I'm overlaying on this video right now, or maybe it's just in the show notes. You'll see. So Pluto in Aquarius, now that Gemini is in an air signs trine each other. So Pluto and Uranus are trining each other. Uranus is now in Gemini. Uranus and Gemini. Let's go over there next. Uranus has moved into Gemini. Uranus was in Taurus since 2018. Uranus is going to go back to Taurus this fall on November 7th, 2025. Okay. But from that July 7th to November 7th of this year, 2025, it has been in a fresh sign with fresh energy in Uranus. What is Uranus about? Uranus is about change. Uranus is a change or be changed, evolve or die. Sort of has, like, to me, Uranus and Pluto have a kind of same energy, but I do think, and some people might be like, no, that's not true. Whatever. Like, in my experience, reading charts, thinking about Uranus, I've become like a big Uranus apologizer over the years. Same with Saturn. Uranus, I think of it because it's we kind of, we relate it to Aquarius, we relate it to quirkiness. I do think it's like, can be like exciting change. And a lot of the times it can be change in a way that is like, if you're bored, Uranus is a great planet to embody because Uranus is truly allergic to boredom. Uranus is about challenges. So now, of course, like Uranus can also signify very shocking, upending, like what the fuck changes as well. Um, but it's because the planets also contain multitudes and it's not just all, sunshine, lollipops, and rainbows. And then, so they're trining each other. So I'm illustrating this minor grand trine. Then both Pluto and Uranus, while they trine each other, their telephone line is loving it because trines mean ease, trines mean flow. Trines aren't necessarily good, though they are considered a good aspect. Trines means it's happening. Trines means all systems go. We like each other. We agree with each other. If these two are coworkers, they are kikiing the fucking house down. Like they are into each other. So these trines, this trine duo of Pluto and Uranus, they're both sextiling at the same time. So they're Eiffel towering, if you will. Maybe that does that do it for you? They're Eiffel towering Neptune and Saturn. Neptune had been in Pisces, its home turf, since 2012. So then they're Eiffel towering. Saturn was in Pisces for the last previous 3-ish years. Saturn moves through a sign every like 2.5, 3 years. Neptune was in Pisces for the last like 12 years. And now Neptune moved into Aries on March 30th, 2025. So now Pluto is sextiling Saturn and Neptune. Uranus is sextiling Saturn and Neptune. What's the difference between a sextile and a trine? Sextile and trines are considered, air quotes, the good aspects. And where trines are a lot of natural ease and flow, sextiles are also that, but just like on a little lesser scale. And I would say that lesser scale means it requires still some effort or work. Where, like when you just get someone, you already like the person, like we're just in, we're feeling it. That's like trine energy. Sextile is like, oh, I really like them, but now I need to make this effort to like be in their world and like see if we can coordinate our hangs and like, integrate it. Like it's making the effort. So there's effort to be made between Uranus and Uranus with Saturn and Neptune and Pluto with Saturn and Neptune. Put them all together and what do you got? You have a outer planet fiesta with all air and water. Okay, let's get into the elements. Air and water, mind and passions, our ideas, and the go and the drive to fucking do it. And so, I mean, this is also a lot of, with air and fire, that's if we think about like the yin and yang, yin being like feminine, softer, fluid energy, yang is more masculine, aggressive, direct energy. I'm very aware of like gendering with the planets and everything. Anyone can be masculine, like anyone can be feminine. It's, choose, choose your own adventure, but still, like, what the fuck I'm talking about, right? Like, right, like air and fire. It is like a penetrating energy. So, talk about like spark plug, ignite the flame, get the things going time. Now, get this. Okay. Again, this is me, just me. I sometimes I feel like I haven't had like a mad scientist episode in a while where I'm just like truly nerding and like going like, whoa. And it's because it's making me think about my own life and the moves I want to make in the next few years and like how I want to move through this world knowing what I know. And, like my husband, who, is not as, I wouldn't say he's spiritual and he's more of an atheist type guy and, into history and science. And I mean, I am too, but obviously I'm very into this and woo. And, I'm just finding the folks who maybe don't believe whatever, and I'm not here to like evangelize or convert anyone because I don't care about that, are like, dang, like what is up? And like, yeah, sometimes like in astrology, it's like, oh shit, like I know too much. But that's okay because knowledge is power. Knowledge is fucking power. And here's the knowledge. Here's the information for you. This taste test of the future. This is outer planets. This is what's going to be up on the bigger collective scale for some time. And that taste test of all of them together started July 7th, 2025. The taste test wind down starts September 1st, 2025, because, and it's not an outer planet, it's a social planet, but it is in this conversation. So it's a conversation to be had. Saturn will retrograde back into Pisces on September 1st, 2025. Saturn will not re enter Aries until February 13th, 2026. And then it's going to stay in Aries until April 12th, 2028. So it's very much a part of this story. So that's the like, it's like the wind down. It's the beginning of like lowering the flame because we still have the outer planets in those new signs. And just a reminder, Pluto is not retrograding back. Pluto is the steady. Pluto is the steady. The variations are Uranus. Oh, and I guess I didn't talk about the symbolism of Neptune and Saturn. Let me get into that for a second. Pluto, death and transformation. Got it. In Aquarius, sign of inventiveness and changes in technology, communities. Okay. Also, like, yeah, I'm not very sure this won't be literal on an AI level whatsoever. We'll see. Okay. Honestly, and I'll get into these future dates in a second. Looking ahead, seeing that when Uranus is going to be with the South Node in Gemini, I'm going to place this prediction bet here. I think that's when we're going to start regressing. There's going to be technology rollbacks. I think that's when we're going to see some reversals, legislation, like starting to see maybe like what do they call it in AI when like they can just form their own thoughts? Like that's probably already going to be happening. And then having to like roll it back. I mean, it'll probably be too late. And again, not to scare anyone. Look, we're in this group project together. We're in this experiment called Planet Earth together. Isn't it grand? So please live your life to the fullest and do whatever you can to enjoy your fucking time here on Earth, as Earth can be really fun if we just not try to live for anyone else but ourselves. And of course, if you have duties to others, you get it. Do no harm is always the ethos. My God. Okay. I was getting into the symbolism. Neptune. Okay, wait. No. Pluto. Let me recap. Pluto Aquarius, just talked about it. Uranus and Gemini. Uranus, the change, updates, change or be changed. Kingmaker, King Toppler. Gemini, communication, connection, people, technology too, in a way. Like maybe, of course, more like capital T technology, but how we're communicating is obviously very tied into technology now. Also, Uranus, Pluto's in an Aquarian sign with Aquarius. So it's just like doubled down. Neptune. Neptune is the planet of dreams, the unknown, the ether realms, the dream world fantasies, mysticalness. Also, I think of Neptune also greatly associated with media or screens, making worlds that aren't real, right? That's like very Neptunian. In Aries, sign of self, who we are, our identity, innocence, truth, also war and conflict, and our raw needs. It's also there, Saturn. Saturn, not an outer planet, a social planet. Jupiter and Saturn are the social planets. They connect us to our groups and whatnot. Saturn is the planet of boundaries, of rules, regulations, schedules, timing, accomplishments. In Aries, again, back to self, but it's there Saturn. The rules are getting blended because when planets are in conjunction, they're like taking on each other's energy. And so when Saturn and Neptune are together, planet of rules and what? The planet of like structure and strictness and like what day is it? It is very much that the rules are being made up as we go. We're in a wild west. We're in a new frontier that we have not experienced before. And so we're learning how to navigate that together in this group project that we call life. We have Saturn move back into Pisces, September 1st, 2025. We're starting the wind down. Then the taste test of the future comes to a conclusion for now, a pause, October 22nd, 2025, because that is when Neptune re enters Pisces. And though, hear me out, we're still going to be in the configuration, we're still going to be in the minor grand trine, but a sign change, a retrograde, a return ingress is big. It's symbolic. It means, of course, we're going to go back to some of our, even if Neptune is staying in the same house, I use Placidus. So they stay in the same house a lot of the time, unless you're right on the cusp. For me, I am my fucking midheaven's at 0 degrees Aries. So like this shit is literally oscillating back and forth there. So that's interesting. Midheaven with Placidus. So it does switch houses. Again, if you're like, I want to know where all these are in my chart, book a reading. Would love that. Maybe I'll do a follow up, like subscriber only horoscopes for this minor grand trine for the risings. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Anyways, so yeah, what the fuck was I saying? I got sidetracked. I sidetracked myself. So the taste test. How was July 7th? And by the time this comes out, we'll be in the wind down, September 1st ish, maybe a day or two before. We're around there. We're around that Saturn and Pisces return retrograde. That's a good reminder. Actually, good thing I said that. Saturn and Pisces people, you are not done with your Saturn return. It is back in the game. So that will actually be wrapping up for Saturn and Pisces people on that February 13th date. And then Saturn and Aries people, your Saturn return did get a sneak preview taste test beginning in that May 24th, 2025 date, but then you're gonna have a little retrograde break and then go back. Got it. But here we are now. We've had a couple months of, you know, the feelings. Of course, the months before we hit July 7th, we had already like some changes, but like the full conglomeration, the full trifecta, including Saturn, the whole shebang has been in motion. And how has that felt? How has July 7th to now been going? If you not liking, if you have not been liking that, there's time. There's time to make some adjustments because this taste test of the future, while it's winding down this fall, late summer, early fall, it's gonna come back. We're gonna do it again. And that's why I keep saying like next year is sort of like the same but different. One key factor or another factor, maybe not a key factor, but an interesting factor is 2025 in numerology and tarot is a 9 to 2025. 2 plus 2 plus 5, 9. So it's a 9 year. That's a year of endings and conclusions and cycles, like reaching their final go. 9 in tarot is the hermit card about internalness. What do we want? Going in and finding our own inner light. Then next year, 2026, is a 10, which then comes down to 1. We're going to be having a 1 year, like, boiling it down to a 1, this restart. Also in Chinese zodiac, we were just in a snake year, shedding the skin. And then next year is a fire horse, which is like about go. 1 year is about us and a reset. The number 10 tarot card is the Wheel of Fortune. Spin the wheel. Let's try again. Now we know. Now we know what we just went through and how that felt. And for everyone who sat down with me in readings, and when we've talked about this thing, and I'm glad I can put this into an episode because I feel like I've been ranting about like this, and I hope it's making sense for some time. And if you don't like the seat you're sitting in come April 25th, 2026, if you already weren't making those steps and changes to something new, different, invigorating, exciting, if you needed a deadline, there's your deadline. April 25th, 2026. That is your deadline to pivot if things still suck. If things still, and what does that mean? I don't know. But if it's driving you mad, if you would take change any change, then go for it. Now, again, this is not legal advice. Do no harm. You know your life and finances, etc. Relationships better than a stranger. Astrology is also about guidance into learning to trust your own voice and your own gut instincts and your own decisions. But I will say, things aren't going to be like magically back to a previous time. We are getting a lot more of the same, except now we know what's coming. Now we got a heads up. Wow, thank you. This is how like crunchy this can be. This is how flustering, whatever, frustrating. Oh, this is what's happening to the field I work in. Got it. This is the time to just say thank you, astrology. Thank you, stars, for the sneak preview that was 2025. Now I know that's going to be a lot more of what 2026 holds for me. And I'm going to move through this space appropriately. Okay. Sips wine. I am like extremely late to the game on orange wine. And honestly, I haven't really drank that much in 2025 in general. Like, I feel like I, 2025, sidebar, side quest bar, talking about beverages. I should pull a tarot card at the end of this. I think I will. Um, I feel like I haven't really been a big drinker in 2025, which is like totally fine because I've officially switched from regular full fat Coke to Diet Coke. And because I just love, like, I've always just grown up in a Coke household. My grandma always had like 1,600 different types of pops. We call them pops in the Midwest. I feel like I've lost my fucking Midwest accent 100%, like pops. So I had to wean myself off the full fat Cokes, which is the joke I call it for like the sugar. You get it. So now I'm on Diet Cokes, and I feel like if I go out, I can fly high off like a Diet Coke with lime. Like I don't need booze. I can party really hard on aspartame. And then I like in 2024, I drank too much rosé, and now I like can't stand the smell or taste of it. Like literally, and then the wine guy where I buy wine at my local wine shop was like, yeah, you can like actually overdrink something. And now I'm on orange. So connecting with spirit to check in with spirit. So I needed a sip before I go on this rant, which is this minor grand trine, this little triangle. I'm like doing like the Illuminati symbol on video right now to show you, right? Pluto in Aquarius, Uranus and Gemini, Saturn in Aries, Neptune in Aries. Neptune in Aries is the bigger convo because that's the longer transit. So they're going to be in this minor grand trine. Let's just we'll move Saturn to the side for a second. Let's just focus on Uranus, Gemini, Neptune, outer planets. They're going to be in this minor grand trine. Can you guess? Can you guess till one? I think I actually said it earlier. Do you remember what I said? Can you guess? Like April 2030. Let's take a pause. April 2030. Mm-hmm. So there's little breaks. There's like little breaks where the sextiles break up by like a degree, but let's just like round up, right? Like this is in a minor grand trine till 2030. So it's for sure strongly in a minor grand trine till like mid-July 2028. Then there's an extensive break so July 2028 until January 2029. January 2029, it resumes. Okay. I am getting a little conspiracy theorist here, just like a smidge, but like I don't even have a conspiracy to pitch. I'm just like going like, what does this mean? So here we go. Takes a little break. January 2029 until June 2029. Then we get a pause again. Then it comes back. This minor grand trine, March 2030 until April 2030. And then it's breaks up. Then the planets start moving away. Uranus eventually starts pummeling towards Uranus and Cancer, which is crazy to think about with the future. My God, I'll be in my fucking 40s. I'll be 40 by then. That's so crazy. That's so crazy. Time really do be going. and blessed to like live life and be here on earth and to get to talk about astrology and be in the clouds with y'all. But yeah, like we are in a new time period. I don't know how many times I have to say this, right? Like how like I know I keep repeating myself, but I think it's just that important for everyone to get. If you have been feeling the need to switch shit up, this is the time. This is the time if you're, and like again, it's going to depend on your chart, what the planets are being impacted, the aspects, the houses they're in. But if there has been that urge for moving, for studying something new, for switching careers, for like being like, you know what, I'm going to open myself up to love and, get married, start the family, or like, oh, fuck it, I'm going to dump this all and like restart and be single, or fucking actually, like, I'm gay. Like, let's do this. Like, if there's been that awakening, right, that's been in you, this is the time, not a time to suppress that. This is not a time to business as usual. Um, and I just like got a glimpse of myself on the video. I'm like, my hair looks so cute right now. Okay. Ooh, Venus is in Leo right now. Am I still in my first house, moving into my second? So I'm like, oh, girl has 3 sips of orange wine, and here we go. Okay. So I think we're winding down. I need to go grab my tarot cards, which I will in a second. You won't know this because I will edit this and it will be paused. But how has the taste test been? Will you be going back for seconds? Or is it time to order something new? Is it time to open yourself up to new senses, new sensory experiences, even just like new ways of thinking? You know, what Pluto, Uranus, Neptune, what they're all stirring up are these really big, sweeping areas of life, in that where do we want to take back our power in an Aquarian way? Where do we want to be the one that decides what changes are made, not having life happen to us, but being the one that makes those changes with Uranus? And then Neptune, that like we can actually like live a beautiful, fantastical, creative, connected, sexual, horny, beautiful, fantastic. I'm feeling like Gaga ranting life. And that's just not for like a certain sect of people, that anyone can have that and should have that and has every right to have, getting that opportunity to live whatever their dream is. But it is takes our participation. And I'm super aware that everything is easier said than done because we're earthlings. Like there's like bills and family and illnesses and things that come up in life that make those windows of opportunity close. But if you and this is going to be ongoing, right? Like this isn't like, oh, this is this transit for tomorrow, like this is this transit for like fucking 2030. It's this transit for the next like 5 years. It's crazy. And we got a heads up. Like the fucking stars gave us a heads up. So with this heads up, what's next? What do you want to do next? Wow. Okay, I'm looking at my notes just to make sure I didn't forget anything to share with y'all. But again, if you would like to know where this is impacting your chart personally, and we can really maybe do a focused reading just on this topic of the minor grand trine and the what that impact of slower, longer outer planets means, let's chat. Happy to spend some time and do a reading with you. Also, there's a good plug, good plug time. If you become a founding member of the third space of the paid tier for $111 flat for the year, so you just pay a flat thing. You also get a 15-minute free video consult, FaceTime or Zoom or whatever with me. And then also you get discounts like a 33% or $33. I have to double check. I make this, but I need to double check. I just need the menu like here so I can reference it easily. But I'm Virgo South Node. I am in my nodal return. I am like, it's like no one will punish me. No one will punish me, well, besides myself. Okay. Let me go get my tarot cards. I'm just going to do a little one card pull for us since you've made it all the way here on my wild rant about this minor grand trine. Okay, I've got my cards and I'm gonna pull just a one card message for us, shuffling very sloppily off screen and seeing what might pop up. And okay, stop. Oh, literally, bro, the tower. If you know anything, I think my like green screen clouds. I'll just turn off my green screen for a second. Thank God my office is clean. Okay. My office is cute, but I love my clouds as well. Okay. The tower. I like don't even have to say anything. The tower. This is Salvador Dali's deck, by the way. He's my big three twin. We're both Taurus, Suns, Aries, Moons, Cancer risings. I love this deck because it's fun to have a deck made by someone with my big three. Like mad cool. The tower. I mean, the tower is about the changes that are coming, right? The tower is the foundation, maybe was not the strongest. And so there is time to do something new, to go into a space that is about recognizing what's not working. And that also, I feel like I've been saying this a lot with the eclipses and like Pisces energy and then Saturn with Neptune and this like dissolving of like what's real, what's not, whatever. And it's like back to loosening the grip that if you have to hang on to something so tight, is it yours? I just had like a sneezing fit. I had to like stop. It's like my body like that. Um, I mean, this is also like awakening, right? Literally can't stop sneezing. This is also rebuilding, right? Again, you might have built things on not the most solid thing to begin with. For some of us, this is again, sometimes things in astrology are things happening to us, like, our building getting sold that we live in, our job all of a sudden closing, whatever, those are real things that feel out of our control. But this time period is really pointing us to where we can build something that might last for this new era that we're in, because this is all, again, this for the collective, this is all needing a second look, and that this is not our forever too. That might be really welcome from a lot of people. Oh my God, I am so sneezy. What the F? I do like to look at the bottom of the deck. So here's my deck. And I do like to do a like what's in the subconscious, like what's at the bottom, what's maybe like the deep feelings that we're connecting to this time. And so we have the Knight of Cups. Okay. Our cup runneth over, our space of our feelings. No, we haven't really talked about water energy that much because of all the fire and air that's happening with this minor grand trine. And also, this is a good reminder too, thinking about the tower, is with sextiles and trines with this minor grand trine, like these aren't squares and oppositions. You know what I mean? Like this is about our choice, our participation, our connection to how this is going to go. Like, Neptune eventually will be squaring Uranus and Cancer because they're cardinal signs. And we're all going to be like, whoa, they're squaring now. Like I feel like astrology is constantly moving from, wow, that's doing this thing to like, then it moves to the next thing. It's like, wow, now it's doing this. And it's like, yeah, they're like always kind of doing something. Yeah, this minor grand trine is the invite to be the agent in this updates and where you're going and how these things are going to be shifting. The subconscious is like, you know what to do. This is the Knight of Cups. It's moving this cup of emotions forward, that intuition, like where you want to see life heading, trusting that gut, also following like your creative spirit, your emotional fountain flow, following like the good stuff, romance and um people that fill up your cup, right? Like going to places that just feel good. Sometimes like again, like these changes that may come might not have to make sense on paper. We're in a Piscean time with this, with the North Node in Pisces. Things don't have to make sense on paper. They have to make sense in your body and in your soul and in what you think life should and could and would feel like. So damn. Okay. And they kiss. Okay, well, I'm gonna go back in my clouds now, my safe space. My like comfort, my comfort digital background though. My real environment was looking cute too. So that's that, kids. That's that, star party people. So I hope that this message, if you needed it hammered home again, it was like, this is what's happening. This is the reality. We got a heads up. We get the opportunity to adjust. And if the adjustments haven't taken or felt substantial or have connected for you, if you're a person that likes a deadline, April 26th, 2026 is a great time to make that your like, I'm making a decision by this date. I'm making a call, I'm making a switch, I'm making a move. I'm going to, and I think a lot of these, here's the other thing is like these retrogrades are going to go back to old themes. So some of this stuff might be naturally clearing up and, answering these questions for you. I keep saying this like all summer because we've been in the taste test. So anytime anyone asks me this too, like more on a personal friend level, I just keep saying like all will be revealed. Like, bro, we have the eclipses, then we have all the retrograde backs, going back this fall, winter into spring. And then like come spring, like, dude, it will all be revealed. Like I'll know everything I need to know by April 26th, 2026. So I'm not, can't say I'm not stressing. I'm like in a moment right now where I feel just good in myself and confident and like knowing that I don't know is like, it's all right. Knowing that that's okay because we're here to find out in this rest of the year after we have this pedal backwards of what we want to continue and take with us and what we're really ready to retire. So with that, I am complete. I will, let's keep talking about this. Let's sound off in the chat, sound off in the comments. And until next time, thanks for listening to Star Quality. Take care. Bye bye.